Thank you very much, Smart, for that amazing report there. I would have loved to have the Aziri is a very popular school in Bamenda, and I would have really loved to get the real images from the field that are actually showing the school and the militarization of it. It's so unfortunate we didn't get that images, and I promise those who are watching us that will probably get the rightful images of this starting next week as we're processing what is happening. So for those who are claiming school resumption, for Cameroon trying to claim that situations are getting normal, this is a report we're having from Star Smart there. She has been investigating that for some days. We're having a report actually saying that the students are faced with armed. Cameroon has its military there. It is the desperation, Barrister Fru. It is the desperation of this colonial government to try at their best in any way possible to get some form of normalcy. That it is that desperation that is despicable for me, Barrister Fru. Please talk to us.
Yeah, it is desperation, but that is what a stupid way of showing desperation. They show desperation by bringing their forces, displacing their forces from Kutaba to Bamenda, and where into schools in Bamenda, Aziri, and we don't know how many other schools are being occupied by the military. Information getting to me is that school starts on Monday. School starts on Monday. And if school starts on Monday and the classrooms are occupied by the military, and they do it in such a way that the whole world knows about it, how then can they talk about normalcy? How then can they talk about that there is no war anymore in Ambazonia? They are going to the General Assembly on the 10th. How can they explain the occupation of classrooms by armed military men? How can they explain the occupation of a hotel in Sabga by armed military men, and that hotel is not far away from schools from primary schools in Sabga? How can they explain in some parts of Momo where the military is taking up classrooms as their headquarters, as their barracks? In Momo and in parts of Ngoktunja and in parts of Boyo. How can they explain that? And I want to think that La Republique is moving troops into the southern Cameroons in preparation for a fight at the time that the General Assembly is meeting. If it's not desperation, what is it? What do they intend to achieve? What are they going to tell the United Nations? That the world that they have been saying that they are getting back to normal is now coming back? It's a question only they can answer. But the fact remains that we will not fight them in classrooms where our children are supposed to be in school, because we don't know which child can stray into the school compound and be caught by crossfire. And that as the place that I know is populated. If you start a fight with those troops there, there is a chance that the civilians will be hurt. What are they trying to prove? Well, I have only one answer for them. The Ambazonian State Army they are guerrillas, and they have started what you call urban guerrilla warfare, and they will take care of them. For now, the world should know that La Republique is moving its troops into classrooms in the southern Cameroons when school is supposed to be starting. This is a message to the world. Let nobody, including the US ambassador in Yaoundé, who is issuing a statement calling on children of the southern Cameroons to go to school. How would a child go to school when the school is being occupied by an invading army? Can that happen in America? Can that happen in anywhere in the world? So, Paddy, all I can say is that these people are not only desperate, they are preparing another round of conflict. Because to move troops from Kutaba, their training center, into Bamenda, in a primary school called Azere, and in the Sabga, it's only preparing for war. And the Ambazonia State Army is ready for them. Thank you.
Barrister Mbesia, please talk to us.
Well, the school issue is so sympathetic. And I would start it by simply using this word. What they are doing is manipulation. They're simply trying to manipulate the population. As simple as that. And so, what does it mean? I can say this, and people can quote me. I'm saying this with my own practical. I've been a teacher. I taught for 10 good years, from September 1972 to June 1982. That's exactly 10 academic years. I taught in primary schools and I taught in secondary schools. So I know what I'm talking about. I have a handbook here, which was for the West Cameroon government. It is called the West Cameroon Government Education Policy. But these are internal policies. Education has guidelines internationally recognized by UNESCO and UNICEF. Those are United Nations organizations. There are rules on how schools are run. Among them, what we call a school environment. It is not allowed. The school environment can be 10, 30, 50 meters away from the school building. You are not supposed to have soldiers within the school environment, talk less of having them in the classroom. You are not supposed to have drinking spots. They have that in Cameroon. Don't open the oblast in a school. So the school environment is totally unsafe when soldiers are near it. Not even talk about being in the classrooms. It is unacceptable by international standards. It is unacceptable by local governments around the world. And so the issue that we should ask ourselves, does Yaoundé think, or does anybody think that Azire, where this thing is going on, is a replica of what they call the Northwest, or any particular school in Bamenda town or in Boya town? Is it a replica of what obtains in all schools in the Southwest or in the Northwest, as they call it? No, no. If, as of today, they still need to have soldiers sitting on benches with the students in Azire or in Boya or in Kumba or in other major urban town, it simply tells you that the environment is not conducive for schooling. Even when we're in the university as adults, when we had a crisis there, we'll go on strike. They'll send soldiers. But when classes resumed, they all moved out of it. You could not be having soldier guiding students in the University of Boya or Bamenda. These are adults. They leave the campus. That is why, even in those situations, the soldiers or the security forces are not allowed to go into school campuses, even in Boya. They are not allowed to move to the University of Boya or Bamenda until the chancellor invites them. And so the whole was singing this song, the environment is not education friendly. Once it's not education friendly, it is a risk for you to send a child. Even if you don't shoot the child, who is the child who is studying where, sitting there without seeing somebody outside at the window with an AK-47? Would that child really read anything? Absolutely nothing. So the environment is not conducive for education. And by this, we're calling on UNESCO, on UNICEF, all these groups that are supposed to oversee education worldwide, who draw the attention to this. We should not go into this manipulation, orchestration of a school in Aziri or a school in Bafut or a school in Boya and calling it school resumption. The pictures that we have received today are enough. Don't expect your team to go down to the village and take more pictures. They will not be able to get there because the schools, that classroom in Nigeria is just symbolic. I can tell you from my own perspective, from in the BLM, most of the schools that people are getting are occupied by the military. The media comes there. So it's not just one school where they have people coming to sit at the corner in Nigeria and asking for keys. Most of the schools that were supposed to be schools don't even have keys. People have run away. And then people have come and occupied those places. They didn't build camps. They didn't even have money to put up tents. Those school buildings have roofs that shelter them from the rain and the sun. And so that is why they have found it comfortable to remain. The central issue that we are here asking is our parents who have these children, is it conducive for you to send your child to that type of environment and say the child is going to school? Certainly not. You and me talking are already adults who have children. I wouldn't send my own child there. Even in that Aziri or any other school in town where soldiers are sitting at the corner. And so it is wrong, it is appalling, it is total deceit nationally and internationally. The international community, notably UNESCO and UNICEF, should be their attention should be drawn to them. That school resumption depends on a number of factors. One of the most important one is the school-friendly environment. If the environment is not friendly to education, you cannot ask children to go there. Because even if they're forced to sit there from 8 to 2, they'll learn nothing. When they are being distracted by soldiers, when they are being distracted by gunfires, even by rubber gun or by spears, they will learn nothing. The environment is not friendly. Who has to make the environment friendly? Yeah, one day that occupies the place. Let them take away their soldiers, take them out of all those areas. The environment will be friendly. Children can walk to school and come back without fear, without the risk of being killed, either by friendly fire, by an enemy, or by just a criminal. And so that is the truth. Educationists in Yaoundé understand this. Educationists around the world, in the United States, in Britain, understand these principles. Again, talking from my perspective as a teacher with 10 years experience, that is not a school environment. I taught for 10 years.
Not
Nobody
at
teach me.
all. And this is something, uh, uh, it's baffling to see how those who are advocating, you see, from the side of La République de Cameroon, and even some who call themselves frontline leaders in Ambazonia, I don't know if they have put together contingencies to outrightly state or declare and send out a press release that they want school resumption. But this is what I want us to talk about now. This aspect of school, you have those who, I don't want to call names, but you would have them encourage school resumption during such delicate times. These people do not even have fighters on the ground. Some of them are CPDM loyalists who are patronizing kidnappers and so on and so forth. Why Cameroon is trying to tell the world that normalcy has returned, and therefore they are, because when we were growing up, this is how the angle I want to look at it. There was no need for the state to be announcing with civil rights movements that school is about to start and school should resume. If everything was normal, the very fact that there is announcement, there is pressure on movements, on organizations, there is an extraordinary mobilization from grassroots, only tells us that the status quo is a call for concern. Barrister Afrubi.
Yes, yes, even the US ambassador is in the mix. The US ambassador in Yaoundé too is in the mix. Like you said, when we were growing up, you only knew that you would return to school on a particular date because on the last day of school, they inform you, the headmaster will come and inform everybody that we will be starting school on so and so date. Nobody cared. Nobody, there was no announcement about school resumption or anything. They are doing this now because of what La Republique has brought into our psychic. We have come to now act like French people when they have particular dates for school resumption and they make so much noise. Now the noise is louder because there is war in Ambazonia. And that same those loud voices are not even cognizant of the fact that the school environment is not conducive for any learning. It's not conducive for the security of that child who is supposed to be coming to school maybe for the first time or maybe to continue. The particular case of the Southern Cameroon is pathetic because nobody is listening to us. There's an international conspiracy against us. Is it because La Republique has played so well that it has divided our natural resources to the big powers to shut their mouths from talking about what is happening to us? In which country would you have children sitting in a classroom and soldiers moving around with AK-47s? Which parent will send a child to school under those conditions? And why is it that the whole world, including our so-called black legs, announcing school resumption dates in October? Some say October, some say this and that. What are they telling the world? What are they telling everybody? That we have been paid to work for the enemy. Because we in the government of the Southern Cameroon, Ambazonia, we don't have a date for school resumption. We know that when once there's a conducive environment for students to go to school, they will go to school. Because we are at war, we don't have a particular date that will announce that, okay, today there will be no longer any shooting, or there will be no longer any bullets flying around. Children can now go to school. We don't have that. That is why the policy of this government is so rational for parents to take particular note of a particular environment where they live and decide whether you want to sacrifice your child to go to school and not come back, or you keep that child at home, arrange for some kind of private tutoring, or you lose the child's life. You are the parent. You are the ones to decide because you are living in the war zone. We are a government, but we are a government in exile. We can do very little to control the insecurity around schools. The schools spread out in Ambazonia. Ambazonia is an educational center for Cameroon. Everybody knows that. The number of schools in Ambazonia, I can tell you, are almost equal or surpasses the number of schools in La Republique du Cameroon. Because we grew up to know something about schooling. And every village, every little quarter had a school. And if all that is at war, how do you tell a parent to send a child and then in the evening the parent is crying with a dead child? That is the dilemma in which we find ourselves. Therefore, the Federal Republic of Ambazonian government does not have a particular date for school resumption. The school resumption will resume, a school will resume when the security environment is conducive for that child to go to school.